Alrighty, and continuing our discussion of writing equations of lines, we're now going to be looking at parallel lines. So at the end of this lesson, you will be able to recognize if two lines are parallel and also to write an equation of a line that is parallel to another line. Alrighty, first of all, let's just take a look at the definition of parallel lines. Parallel lines, and we will discuss this more in class, parallel lines have slopes that are the same. So examples of two lines that are parallel would be something that looks like that and something that looks like that. I tried to draw it so they're basically, if they have the same slope, they are never going to cross or intersect. So that's what parallel lines are. If I looked at equations of two lines that are parallel, if I put y equals 1/2 x plus 2 and y equals 1/2 x plus 3, if you look at it, the slopes are both 1/2, so they have the same slope. So these lines are also parallel. And if I were to graph those, I'd start at 2, I'd go up 1 over 2, so that would be one line. And then my other line would be 1/2 x plus 3. I'd start at 3 and go up 1 over 2. Oh, and notice I would end up getting two lines that are parallel. Okay, so first example is to write equations of two lines that are parallel. So you can start with whatever line you want. Let's just say I started with y equals 5x minus 3. Alrighty, so in order for two lines to be parallel, they have to have the same slope. So I just need to recognize what the slope is. The slope is 5. And so when I go to write another equation, I just need to make sure the slope is still 5. So I can put 5x, and then I can put absolutely whatever I want. I think I'll put plus 7, but we really can put anything as long as the slopes are the same. They both are 5. Okay, so now the next one, we are going to recognize whether the two lines are parallel or not. So are the two lines parallel? And then explain. So line A, we have y equals 5x plus 3. And line B, we have y equals 3 plus 5x. So the biggest thing that we have to pull out from each of them is the slope. So I'm going to circle the slope in each of the cases. Remember, the slope is the number that is next to the x. So in this first example, 5 is the slope. And then my second example, even though it's written backwards, 5 is with the x. So 5 is also the slope. So they do have the same slope. So I'm going to say parallel. And then I'm going to say because they both have a slope of 5. All right, then if we look at example 3, line A says y equals 1/2 x minus 3, and line B is y equals 3 minus 1/2 x. Again, I'm going to circle the slope in line A. It's always the variable in front of the x, so the slope is going to be 1/2. And then in my second equation, even though it's written backwards, I take the number that is in front of the x, which in this case is going to be negative 1/2. So in this case, are they parallel? Not parallel. And then it did say to explain, and I'm just going to say because they do not have the same slope. Alrighty, so now that was the first part of the learning target. The second one is to write an equation of the line that passes through the given point and is parallel to the given line. All right, this is going to be very similar to the problems that we've been writing equations with before. I'm just going to write up at the top, we are going to be referring to this equation, which we have been very often lately. But we're just going to have to find some information. Notice they gave me a point, which is great, but I need to find the slope. So if I look at this, this is basically saying that we're going to find a line that's parallel to this line that goes through this point. So if I want it to be parallel, we know that they have the same slope. So if I look at this one, I'm going to circle the slope. All right, so if this line has a slope of 5, the line that I want to find also has a slope of 5. So I'm going to write m equals 5. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is just cross that equation off. I do not need it anymore. So now I'm ready to go ahead. I'm going to label my x and my y. And now from here, it really should just be old school because we've been doing lots of problems like this. So now I'm going to have y minus y1 equals m x minus x of 1. Y minus my y is 4. And then m is 5 because I already have it labeled. X minus my x is negative 1. Okay, now cleaning it up, a minus negative 1 will become plus a positive 1. I'm ready to get rid of my parentheses. I'll get y minus 5 equals, if I distribute, I'll get 5x plus 5. And then to finish it, to get rid of the minus 4, we will add 4 to both sides. So I'll end up getting y equals 5x plus 9. And that would be the equation. Notice they're two different equations, but they will both be parallel to each other. All right, number 5, same thing. My equation, my line goes through the point 2, negative 3, and it is parallel to the line y equals negative 2/3 x plus 7. So first thing I need to just draw from this line is the slope. So I'm going to circle the number next to the x. So my slope I know is going to be the same as that one. So my slope has to be negative 2/3. So then I'm going to cross off that equation because I don't need it anymore. It was just to pull the slope from. And then I'm going to go ahead and label my x and my y. I'm going to write my equation like I always do. And now I have y minus the y that I have labeled as negative 3. My slope we found out was negative 2/3, and then x minus my x value was 2. All right, so from here, I am going to change that to plus the positive, so I'm going to get y plus 3 equals negative 2/3 times x is negative 2/3 times x. And now here it gets a little tricky, so grab that calculator out. Negative 2/3 times negative 2 will be positive either 4/3 or your calculator might give you 1 1/3. Okay, so then from here, we are going to get rid of that plus 3, we will subtract 3. So I'll get y equals negative 2/3 x, and then 1 1/3 minus 3 will actually be negative 1 2/3. So that would be the equation of my line. All right, so now I am going to let you pause the video at this point in time, try problem number 6, and then come back and see how you did. And again, just do your best. If you don't get it right or you're really stuck, come back a little sooner. Alrighty, welcome back. Okay, for this one, we definitely want to pull the slope from the equation that it's parallel to. So I'm going to take that negative 3, which means in my line, my slope is also going to be negative 3. Cross off that line, label my x and my y. So y minus y sub 1 equals m x minus x sub 1. Put in my parts, y minus my y is 7. My m is negative 3, x minus 5. And then from here, I'm going to get rid of my parentheses by distributing. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times negative 5 is a positive 15. And then from here, to get rid of the minus 7, we will add 7 to both sides. So I will end up getting y equals negative 3x plus 22. So that is the equation. And hopefully now you are able to write the equation of a line parallel to another line and also recognize if two lines are parallel.